the read say? I cannot hear the C to save my life. I know some of the starting C.
I very
I
much
find it
appreciated
eventually.
the help you gave us in certain
It's
places.
the note I was.
There was a couple, I don't know what song that was, but you came in and
You should just.
gave us he played our part. It's like,
Yeah.
Just
that's what it was.
well, thank you.
Okay, Shimanigia.
Yeah.
Cool, man. All right.
But
JST, brother.
Yeah, thank you.
Jewish Standard Time.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Did they say who like everyone's going to
Should be a way to make this one smaller when you
Oh.
You see that the head coach and the assistant coach are talking over the plays for tonight. So,
Defense and offense.
Over 1,000 people.
Yeah, there was an opera, and it was late, so. My phone is off.
Who's
Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.
How is everybody? You made it through the snowstorm to get here?
The great storm of Lot 24.
Frozen tundra. Good evening, welcome. We are fortunate this evening to have mixed choir with us, along with Andy's very last choir experience. Tissues will be handed out at the end of services. We have Ross M. Levy, Rabbi Malo, and we are delighted to welcome this evening author from our Jewish Book Council, Lee Matthew Goldberg, who you'll hear from in just a little bit. And last but not least, we are very honored to have with us our colleague, Rabbi Julian Cook, and his lovely daughter, Emily. So thank you for joining us for Shabbat. Our opening song can be found on page 128 as we join together in singing Maya Fe Hayom.
or not?
No, we don't.
Nope.
I've been corrected. We are singing Shabbat Hamalka, which apparently has no page number, so hum along.
Hachama merosh ha'ilana pisaka bo'u v'netzel lekrat Shabbat hamalka. Hachama pisaka netzel lekrat hamalka. Hine,
Shabbat Hamalka.
Hachama merosh ha'ilana pisaka bo'u v'netzel lekrat Shabbat hamalka.
Bo
for sure on pages 120, 121 with our lighting of the Shabbat candles. And leading us in our blessing this evening are two lovely past presidents of the congregation, Ann Galfon and Patsy Greenberg.
As these Shabbat candles give light to all who behold them, so may we, by our lives, give light to all who behold us. As their brightness reminds us of the generations of Israel who have kindled light, so may we, in our own day, be among those who kindle light.
O source of light and truth, creator of the eternal law of goodness, help us to find knowledge by which to live. Lead us to take the words we shall speak into our hearts and our lives. Bless all who enter this sanctuary in need, all who bring the offerings of their hearts. May our worship lead us to acts of kindness, peace, and love.
Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav, v'tzivanu lahadlik ner shel Shabbat.
Amen.
Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.
Page 123.
Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, borei peri hagafen. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kidshanu b'mitzvotav, v'ratzah banu, v'shabbat kodsho, me'ahava u'v'ratzon hinchilanu, zikaron le'maaseh b'reshit, kihu yom techilah le'mikra'ye kodesh, zecher le'tziat Mitzrayim.
We've had a tradition here since, a solemn tradition, since last October 7th, when we've been lighting candles, lighting lights for those hostages yet remaining in Gaza. And we continue to light these lights until the hostages are returned home. There are still 100 yet unaccounted for. And so we now take a moment to light these lights in their honor, that they may be a lamp to their feet. Please come forward and join us in lighting these lights.
It's really snowing outside. Let's see. Right behind the candles.
We join together on page 124. Together at the top of the page. We entered the sanctuary to welcome Shabbat. Within these walls, we sit surrounded by numberless generations. Our ancestors built the synagogue as a visible sign of God's presence in their midst. Throughout our long history and our endless wanderings, it has endured, a beacon of truth, love, and justice for all humanity. Its presence guided our ancestors to lives of righteousness, holding up to them a vision of their truest selves. Now we, in our turn, come into the sanctuary to affirm the sacredness of our lives. May we enter this place in peace. May holiness wrap around us as we cross its threshold. Weariness, doubt, the flaws within our human hearts, the harshness of the weak, let these drop away at the door. In the brightness of Shabbat, let peace settle upon us as we lift our hearts in prayer. We lift our hearts in prayer to welcome the Shabbat bride as we sing Lecha Dodi, page 138.
Lecha Dodi, Lecha Kala, B'nei B'nei Shabbat Lekavela. Lecha Dodi, Lecha Kala, B'nei B'nei Shabbat Lekavela. La 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 la. Lecha Dodi, Lecha Kala, B'nei B'nei Shabbat Lekavela. Lecha Dodi, Lecha Kala, B'nei B'nei Shabbat Lekavela. Zachu b'diborecha,
On page 146, we'll continue with Baruch Hu, our call to worship. We rise as we are able.
Baruch Hu et Adonai, Hamevorach.
Baruch Adonai Hamevorach, Le'olam Va'ed.
Let's read together on page 148 at the bottom of the page. Blessed are you, Adonai, our God, ruler of the universe, who speaks the evening into being, skillfully opens the gates, thoughtfully alters the time and changes the seasons, and arranges the stars in their heavenly courses according to plan. You are creator of day and night, rolling light away from darkness and darkness from light, transforming day into night and distinguishing one from the other. Adonai Tsebaot is your name. Ever-living God, may you reign continually over us into eternity. Blessed are you, Adonai, who brings on evening. Baruch atah Adonai, Hamariv Aravim. Page 152, we continue together with Shema.
Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Baruch Shem Kevod Malchuto, Le'olam Va'ed.
Please be seated. Let's join together on page 155. Love your God with every heartbeat, with every breath, with every conscious act. Keep in mind the words I command you today. Teach them to your children. Talk about them at work, whether you are tired or you are rested. Let them guide the work of your hands. Keep them in the forefront of your vision. Do not leave them at the doorway of your house or outside your gate. They are reminders to do all of my mitzvot, so that you can be holy for God. I am Adonai, your God. I led you out of Egypt to become your God. I am Adonai, your God. Page 157. We read responsively at the bottom of the page. In a world torn by violence and pain, a world far from wholeness and peace, give us the courage to say, Adonai, there is one God in heaven and earth. The high heavens declare your glory. May earth reveal your justice and love. From bondage in Egypt we were delivered. At Sinai we bound ourselves to your way.
Inspired by prophets and instructed by sages,
Time and again we overcame oppressive forces. Though our failings are many and our faults are great, it has been our glory to bear witness to our God, keeping alive in dark ages your vision of a world redeemed. Let us continue to work for the day when the nations will be one and at peace. Then shall we rejoice as Israel did, singing on the shores of the sea. Let's join together on page 161 at the bottom of the page. Give us a place to rest, Adonai our God. Bring us into shelter in the soft, long evening shadows of your truth. For with you are true protection and safety, and in your presence are acceptance and gentle love. Watch over us as we go forth. Prepare for us as we return. Spread over us your shelter of peace. Over all we love, over our Jerusalem and yours. Baruch atah Adonai, haporei sukat shalom aleinu, ve'al kol amo Yisrael, ve'al Yerushalayim. We turn to page 371 as we offer now our Misha Berach Lecholim, our prayer for all those in need of healing. In our community, we pray for the speedy healing of David Ben Meir Batya, Ashley Ballou Bonema, Ellen Brodkin, Bernie Bronstein, Nate Sugarman, Mel Claver, Stanley Cohen, Peg Collins, Gloris Danus, Perry Goldlust, Patty Heller, Rick Kreshtool, Merwin Landay, Bonnie McKenna, Fred McKenna, David Meltzer, Rick Pirates, Terry Rivas, Hannah Rubin, Douglas Schumer, Robert Seeley, Barry Sokol, Ian Spector, Shel Steinberg, Helen Subio, Elliot Voron, and Luca Suchman. We join together in Misha Berach, our prayer for healing. On page 164, we continue with Tefillah, our central prayer. Please rise in body or spirit.
Adonai, open up my lips, that my mouth may declare your praise. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu, Elohei Avotenu, Elohei Avraham, Elohei Yitzhak, Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel, Elohei Leah, Ha'el Hagadol Hagibor Ha'ara, Elyon, Gomel Chasadim Tovim, V'Kolei Hakol, V'Zocher Chasei Avot Imahot, U'Mevi Kula Limnei B'neihem, L'man Shemo Be'ahava, Melech Hozer U'Mashiach U'Magen, Baruch atah Adonai. סומך נופלים ברופא חולים ומציל אסירים ומקיים באמונתו לשני עפר מי כמוך בעל דיבורות ומידו אליו מלך ממית ומחיה ומצליח ישועה למען אתה לחיות הכל ברוך אתה אדוני לחיי העולם.
Let's turn to page 171. יענה אמצך, מקומך נעלה ונעלה, וענה לא אמצך, כבודך מלא עולם. Where might I go to find you, exalted, hidden one? Yet where would I not go to find you, ever-present, eternal one? My heart cries out to you, please draw near to me. The moment I reach out for you, I find you reaching in for me. Baruch atah Adonai, Ha'el HaKadosh. On page 174, we'll continue with Ritzeh. Please be seated.
Ritzeh Adonai Eloheinu Be'amecha Yisrael U'tefilatam be'ahava tikabel U'tehi liratzon Tamid avodat Yisrael Karav lecho, karav b'nei avodecha v'chanenu Shefa
Let's turn to page 177. As we offer our modim, we offer our thanks. We read together at the top of the page. God of goodness, we give thanks for the gift of life, wonder beyond words, for the awareness of soul, our light within, for the world around us so filled with beauty, for the richness of the earth which day by day sustains us. For all these and more we offer thanks. Baruch atah Adonai, hatov shimcha u'lecha na'eh lehodot. And on page 178, we offer a prayer for peace. Shalom Rav. Page 180.
We take a moment now for our own personal prayers, the prayers of our heart, or perhaps some of the prayers found on those pages 180, 181.
shalom aleinu. Ose shalom imro'av, uyaseh shalom aleinu. Ose shalom imro'av, uyaseh shalom aleinu. Yaseh shalom, yaseh shalom, shalom aleinu, le'almo Yisrael. Yaseh shalom, yaseh shalom, shalom aleinu, le'almo Yisrael. Ose shalom bimro'av, uyaseh shalom aleinu. Ose shalom bimro'av, uyaseh shalom aleinu. Ose shalom bimro'av, uyaseh shalom aleinu. Yaseh shalom, yaseh shalom, shalom aleinu, le'almo Yisrael. Yaseh shalom, yaseh shalom, shalom aleinu, le'almo Yisrael.
Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.
And now the moment you've all been waiting for. We are so delighted to have join us this Shabbat from all the way from New York City, Lee Matthew Goldberg. He is the Anthony, Lefty, and Prix du Polar. Did I say that right? All right. Nominated author of 14 novels, including The Ancestor and The Mentor and The Great Gimmelmans, which you're about to hear more about, and has a 5-book Desire Card series. And his next book, Miles in Time, will be released in 2025. After graduating with an MFA from the New School, Lee has been published in multiple languages, and his writing has appeared as in Crime Reads, Pipeline Artists, Lit Hub, Chicago Quarterly Review, Electric Literature, the Los Angeles Review of Books, the Jewish Book Council, The Millions, Volume 1 Brooklyn, Lit Reactor, Mystery Tribune, The Nerd Daily, Monkey Bicycle. How many of you have heard of that one? Don't all raise your hands at once. Fiction Writers Review, Kajibi, Necessary Fiction, the Anthology Dirty Boulevard, the Montreal Review, the Adirondack Review, the New Plains Review, Maudlin House, and others. That should keep you all busy and out of trouble. As I said, Lee hails from New York City, and you can follow him at his website, Lee Matthew Goldberg. Let's give a warm Mainline Reform Temple welcome to Lee. Thank you so much for being with us.
Sure. I think like this. Yeah, perfect. Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.
Thank you so much for having me. This is really exciting. I've just started doing events with the Jewish Book Council, so this is my second, and it's been really fun and exciting to kind of travel the country. So yeah, a little bit about myself, as the rabbi read before. I'm an author, I'm a screenwriter as well. I've written 14 novels. My novels tend to be in the thriller capacity mostly, so they tend to be a little bit dark and scary. I also have written a young adult series as well. And I just was going to talk a little bit about my books and then also what it sort of means to be a writer in these days. So usually when I have an idea, it kind of percolates in my head for sometimes even a year, and I'm working on a different book, and in the back of my head, this other book is kind of nagging at me until I actually sit down and start to write it. Writers are usually kind of referred to as either pantsers or plotters. I don't know if anybody's ever heard that before. The pantsers are the ones who write by the seat of their pants, meaning that they usually have no idea what's going to happen, and they just sit down, and whatever comes out of them that day is what winds up on the page. And I'm the absolute opposite. I come from a huge film background, and I write screenplays as well. So my books are like very much plotted out before I actually sit down to write them. So usually what I'll do is I'll write about a 10 to 15 page outline. Each chapter has about a paragraph to it. And then I allow the wheels to fall off a little bit as I write more. So if a character, like in the book I'm here for and I'll talk about, if a character is telling me, you have to kill me, I have to kill that character. Or in reverse, if a character's like, I need to live, sometimes you need to listen to that character, even if it's in my outline, and I ultimately have to let them live and survive. So my first book came out in 2015. It was called Slow Down. Slow Down is really about the dark side of Hollywood and somebody who would do very, very horrible things to make it in Hollywood. And then, like I said, I've written sort of 14 books since then. I'm based in New York City, and I have a very strange office where I write all my books. My office is actually in Central Park. I usually have a tree that fits my back perfectly, and that's where I've really written everything. And there's something about, I'm born and raised in New York City, there's something about being in nature that allows me to kind of escape the grit of New York and allow my thoughts to actually like percolate and come. So I don't really know what I would do without Central Park or that tree. Although every once in a while somebody will be sitting at that tree and I'll have to find sort of a backup one. And this week, actually, it was I don't know what it was like here, but it was 60 degrees for about 2 or 3 days. So I was able to actually write at my tree a little bit. So the book that I have here, it's called The Great Gimmelmans. It's the first book I've actually had Jewish protagonists. I don't know what has kept me so long from exploring my Jewish heritage in books before, but this one, it kind of sung out to me. This was my COVID novel, as I was explaining a little bit to all the lovely people at dinner before. When COVID happened, I had an idea for a book that I had for a long time, and originally it was going to be about a family in the 1930s that lose all their money in the stock market and then decide to rob banks to put food on the table. So it was going to be a very, very, very serious novel about sort of just making it in any way you can through the Great Depression. And then COVID happened, and we were already depressed, and I didn't want to be more depressed. So I was born where I was a little kid in the 80s, and the 80s were kind of speaking to me with this book. So I just wound up shifting everything to the 1980s. And it became a little bit of a lighter book. I mean, there's definitely dark parts, but we're not in a Great Depression when I'm writing it. So the book is about a family of 5, the Gimmelmans, mom, Judith, dad, Barry, and the 3 children, main character, Aaron. And Barry, the father, works on Wall Street. He's not the greatest person in the world. He really just kind of focuses on money and his job, and he doesn't really have time for his kids. And then the 1987 Wall Street crash happens, and the family loses everything, except for their rundown RV that the government doesn't even want to have anything to do with when they repossess everything. So the family decides to hop in their RV because they don't have a home anymore. The home got taken away, and they're going to drive down to the matriarch's family, Grandma Bernice, all the way down in Boca Raton, Florida. And then on the way, they sort of have an idea that what if we decide to rob banks and use that to just kind of get us through these next few couple of months until they figure out what they're going to do. And the spoiler is they're just really, really good at robbing these banks. So they become, in this fictionalized world, one of the most famous, infamous bank robbers of the time, and they rob sort of the banks with the kids and all. At first, everything is great, the money is flowing in, and then the wheels start to kind of fall off the RV, and it's not working out so well for them. and the parents really put the kids into jeopardy. So when I was writing this book, I really wanted to bring in as much sort of Jewish influence into this family as possible. They're very secular to kind of begin with. They don't really have a connection to their heritage. And even though it sounds like, for the most of the book, they're doing horrible things, it actually brings them together in a way that they've never experienced before. So the book really is about family. That being said, the parents are pretty horrible people, and they're very, very unforgivable. But I really wanted to kind of dissect the idea of teshuvah in this book and the idea of forgiveness. So I don't want to give away too much and spoil the book, but even in the darkest times for the family, they have to look for forgiveness to ultimately kind of unite again and ultimately forgive each other rather than hold on to whatever they've dealt with all of them kind of for the rest of their lives. So I have some books outside if people are interested. Yeah, and it's called The Great Gimmelmans. Currently, I've finished a new book. Well, I finished two, but one of them is also a book where I really wanted to delve into Judaism and Jewish protagonists. And I had always had a nagging idea, like I said before, about writing a book in the 1930s. So this book is set in the 1930s, and it's not a feel-good book at all. That's sort of the spoiler. It's about a Jewish man who's an iron worker in 1937, and his dream is to become a Madison Avenue executive. We're in the dawn of Madison Avenue advertising. And surprise, he gets a job at a brand new Madison Avenue firm. He's the only Jewish man that works for the firm, and he deals with harassment and sort of slurs here and there, but nothing he can't handle. It's still worth it for him to pursue this job. And then he starts noticing subliminal Nazi messaging in the adverts, and he doesn't know if his mind is being messed with or if it's actually a plot that he's the only one that can kind of take down. So this book required a lot of research. The research was really difficult to do. I don't know when I had the idea if the amount of research I would have done had I would continue to do it, but I'm also really glad I did, and I'm really proud that there'll be a place for this book at one time. I was explaining before, it's sort of not the moment that in the publishing world I could send it out right now, or my agent could send it out, but I do feel like there'll be a time and place for it, and it will be the right time for it. So hopefully you'll get to read that book one day as well. Like I was saying, with research, that's sort of a huge part of everything I do. Sometimes the research leads the book. Sometimes I write a book about something I ultimately want to research. One of my books was about Alaskan fishermen in the wilderness. I had a real interest in that, and the book kind of came out of that too. So sometimes you just have to kind of let the idea form and then take on however it ultimately morphs and becomes into something. This has always been a passion of mine. I feel so lucky that I get to do this on a daily basis. And my dream is really to adapt my books into film. So a few of my works have been optioned. Some of them people are writing the scripts, or I've written the scripts, and we're slowly moving forward in Hollywood with a few projects. Hollywood is like glacial until something happens, and then it's like the fastest thing ever. So hopefully that will start to happen really soon. But a few of them look a little promising, so I'm excited about that. And right now somebody's writing a script for the Gimmelmans, so we'll see what happens with that. So I think I could leave it open for Q&A, yeah?
I'm gonna grab the microphone so that
Sure.
at home will hear the
Yes, please. So yeah, any questions about books, films, life? Yeah, absolutely.
So is Ross here?
Yeah, yes.
Okay, because the question I'd ask you is your process much different than a person writing a piece of music? What is it? Where does that inspiration come? Are we going to be a part of a book one day?
You
Well,
might. I mean, one of the great things about being a writer is you could have a conversation. The conversation becomes a part of the book. So I'm always open to inspiration, and I get inspiration sort of from everything. This last week, I had an idea for an AI book that kind of just came out of nowhere. And it was like a lightning bolt. I was walking on the street, I had my headphones on, and the idea just came. And whenever that happens, I always know I need to stop. I need to get my notepad out, my notepad app out, and literally write the whole thing down. So there's something exciting about that in terms of this career too. The other exciting thing is that like you could get the email that kind of changes your whole career and life tomorrow in a very kind of cool way that I think keeps me excited about doing it again and again.
What's so cool about what you're saying
Mhm.
is, like a painter,
Yeah.
right? Like the question is, where do these ideas come from?
I-
Did you have them when you were 7?
Yeah.
Did you go to school to get them? Like, were you born with them?
I mean, I think that's a really good question. I think a really good writer is born. I think people could become better writers and people could become good writers, but I think a true writer where this is your passion. I knew this is what I wanted to do when I was like 4 years old. I was telling the rabbi before, I was writing these like 100-page stories about my dog when I was 7 or 8 years old. So this was always my path that I would kind of go on. But I kind of believe sometimes, and you know, this may sound crazy, but like you're a conduit and somehow the universe is channeling the story through you and you just have to be open to it. And I think that's why I write in nature and at a park, because I'm away from the noise and I'm able to just, I don't know, go somewhere. Sometimes I leave my body for 4 hours at a time and I come back and there's stuff on the screen. I don't even know what it is sometimes. Usually it's good. Like usually if I go somewhere, the writing is really good. And I've heard that from a lot of my friends that are writers too, that they go somewhere. Yeah.
Hi, so
Hi.
you said that you sometimes have other people, you get enough, and they write the script for
Yes.
what you've written.
Yeah.
Now, you are a scriptwriter, so you often write a script from something else. So I was wondering, because I've seen people like write a great story as a memoir
Sure.
and screw it up in their writing.
Yeah.
And I know the story. And so I even said to this, you need this to be put in a script.
Right.
So do you ever write things like you know that the original doesn't seem right, but you know if you put it into the script?
Yeah, I mean, so I usually adapt my own books into scripts and then try to kind of feed it into producers or a director. I have an actress attached to one of my projects who's on a CBS show. So yeah, the idea is already kind of there, and then it's the challenge of turning 400 pages into a 99-page screenplay or a 60-page pilot. But Hollywood's sort of very complicated. So like I have one project, I've written the screenplay, we attached a director, I have a producer, and then the director decided she wanted to write the script. So she has more power than me, it's her script now. If I want to make something happen, then the producers, 2 of them got fired, so now we're looking for new producers. So you're always kind of chasing the wheel a little bit in terms of it. Yeah.
A director, technically,
Yeah.
should never be the one who writes the script because the words get so holy that they're not directing it. And
Yeah. I mean, sometimes these days there's a writer-director, so like in that case in particular, that director has a writing partner and has never written a film and wants the credit for the film. So you're sort of dealing with the semantics of it, but at the same time, it's easier for me to just step back and be like, go for it. Otherwise, we have to find a new, then we have to go through the whole process that we've been going through again. So there's something, a book is very personal. It's something that I've worked on for a really long time. A script takes time, but I'm not as connected to it. So if I looked at it like the script was what got me the director, and then I could kind of step back from it. And then maybe if that movie happens, I have a little more power. and then one of my scripts I can actually have happen. So you just kind of have to play the game a little bit. But I think you're right. I think, you know, we'll see. We'll see if this director, you know, craps up the book. I don't know. Like, we'll see, yeah.
Anyone else?
Don't be shy.
So for the book about the Alaska fishermen that
Yes, yeah.
did you get to go to Alaska to do research?
Yeah, I didn't go to where it was because it was like a fictional place off of Nome, Alaska, really in the middle of nowhere. So I just went to Anchorage just to kind of get like a little taste of what it would be like. I talked to a lot of Alaskan fishermen, but I would like to go back to really where I said it. It just was one of those places that would have taken like 35 hours on a plane and a boat and this and that. And it was almost like if you've seen a part of Alaska, I felt like I could get it enough. And then a part of that book also took place during the Alaskan Gold Rush. It kind of goes back and forth in time. So a lot was the research of the Alaskan Gold Rush, which was really interesting as well. Cool sweater's got it, yeah.
The infamous Gordon.
You really like the sweater.
I do like that sweater, yes.
Are there things going on today which somehow seem to be going into the back of your mind that you might deal with?
Yeah, so Gordon's question was, are there current events happening today that sometimes become a plot or stick in your head a little bit? So yeah, actually, you know, I was, like most of America, really fascinated by what happened 2 weeks ago with the healthcare shooting. So like, I was just following that news story. And that's what sparked a different idea. So I had an AI idea that was kind of in the back of my head about a man who had an AI company who is killed, and then the only person who's seen the assassin was one of the AIs. And so that kind of came out of this. And then I pitched it to my agent, and he was like, I love it. Just keep it as far away from the healthcare thing as possible, mostly because you're going to get, whenever something like that happens, you get a flood of copycats. So 1 million people are going to try to write that book now. And he was like, if we really want to, you know, it's a good idea, just use it as a jumping off point. So instead of it being the guy coming out of a hotel, maybe it could be in his office, it's AI, you know, it's not healthcare. So we just kind of separated it enough because, like I said, I think you're in danger of having too many kind of copycats. But especially writing thrillers, I mean, the news is just stories. So it's story upon story upon story, and I have a ton of thriller crime author friends that comb local newspapers because those are really the stories where it's like, you know, a crime of passion, something like that usually, you know, people really know each other. It's not just a random shooting or something like that. So a lot of my friends really go through every newspaper every day, and some of them have sparked ideas for books that they've written as well.
We've got one more question.
What are the books rated?
What are the books rated? So most of mine would probably be rated R, but I do have a young adult series that is not about like thrillers or murders or anything, and it's called Runaway Train, and that would be probably, I think it's 13 and up, those books. And it's about a girl that wants to be a rock singer in the 1990s, and the books kind of chart her rise and fall. And that's one that we have an actress from a CBS show attached, so we're trying to create that as a TV show right now.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
And we're just going on record that we expect invitations to the red carpet when...
Of course, yes.
When it gets
Keep
made
all
into
your
a
fingers
movie.
crossed, send out the good energy.
That's right. All right. Last call? All right. As Lee mentioned, there'll be an option to buy the book and have him sign it afterwards. And in the meantime, we're going to return to our service.
Yes, thank you so much. Shabbat shalom.
And we continue on page 586 as we rise for Aleinu.
Aleinu l'shabeach l'adon habo, ha'tekin d'ulai yotzei b'reshit, shelo asanu k'mayei ha'aratzot, v'lo samanu k'mishpachot ha'adama, shelo sam chalkinu karem, v'gor aleinu k'chol hamona, v'anachnu olim, u'mishtachalim u'olim, lifnei melech, malchei ha'olim, ha'kadosh baruch hu. V'ne'emar b'chayim Adonai, lemelech al kol ha'aretz, bayom ha'hu, yeh Adonai echad, u'shemo
You may be seated. Our thoughts turn to those who have departed to this earth, our own loved ones, those whom our friends and neighbors have lost, are the martyrs of our people whose graves are unmarked, and those of every race and nation whose lives have been a blessing to humanity. As we remember them, we meditate on the meaning of love and loss, of life and death. This Shabbat, we are in Shloshim for Jeffrey Brodkin, Stanford E. Snyder, Howard Zenker, Susan Albert, Michael Thompson, Marvin Kurdeman, Jerry Claver, Lynn Mazer. And we remember our loved ones who died at this season in years past as we honor the memories of Eugene Barriston, Harry Bernstein, Eleanor S. Blank, Morris M. Fleshman, Barry Brooks, Ruth Claver, Delphine Cooper, David Cooper, Nathan Cooper, William Davis, Bruce DeCare, Frank Dilsheimer, Tilly Dubin, John Dugan. We remember Rose Epstein, Linda Ersner, Alex Feinerov, Betty Friedman, Dorothy Kahn Glazer, Suzanne Gold, Ruth Greenfield, Ruth Heilbrunn, Leah Iskin, Pearl Ruby Jacobs, Jeanette Hubert Kahn, Gloria Kamens, Marvin E. Cans, Morton Kaiser, David Kligerman, Charles Krimstock, Leah Labovitz. We remember Betty Leon, Frances Lease, Sophie Littman, B.B. Markman, Benjamin Morganroth, David Newman, Harry Paul, Edward Prater, Morris Puro, Bella Richter. We remember Jenny Schneider, Rosalind Schonzeit, Edward Scholzinger, Jack Schwartz, Bernard Simmons, William B. Smith, Marion Sprague, Kathy Jones Stein, Charles Steinberg, Myrna Stolker, Eric Strauss, Oscar Tarshish, John Thalheimer, Milton Upshur, Miriam Vernon, Carol A. Weinberg, Jordan Weiss, Jerry Wenger. Zicharnam Livracha, may their memories be an eternal blessing to us and to our community as we continue together on page 598 as we rise for the mourner's Kaddish. Yitkadal v'yitkadash shemei rabbah, v'yalma divrach chirutei v'yamlich malchutei, v'chayachon u'vyamechon u'chayei d'chol beit Yisrael, v'agala u'vizman kari v'imru, Yehei shmei rabbah mevorach le'olam olamei olmaya, yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitramam v'yitnaseh, v'yithadar v'yitalev v'yitalal shemei d'kudusha b'richu, le'ela mincho birchata v'shirata, tushbachata v'nechamata, damiran v'alma v'imru, Yehei shlama rabba min shemaya, v'chaim aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'imru. Osei shalom b'mramav, hu ya'asei shalom, aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'imru. Amen. May the Holy Blessed One who creates harmony on high bring peace to us, to all Israel and all the world. And together we say,
Amen.
Amen. You may be seated. Except for, we just got walk-up music now. The lovely Helene Ehrlich Cohen for this week's announcements.
Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.
And thank you to Rabbi Newberg, to Rabbi Malo, to Rosh and Levy, to Andy Heller, our fabulous mixed choir,
Small but mighty.
and thank you all for your beautiful service. And we also want to thank our special guest, Lee Matthew Goldberg, who shared his most recent writings. His book, The Great Gimmelmans, is available to purchase in the lobby. I want to call your attention to some very exciting upcoming programs and special events. Join Rabbi Newberg tomorrow morning at 9 a.m. for Torah study, followed by our Shabbat morning service. Both Torah study and services will be in person and on Zoom. We're your woolies. On MLK weekend, our MLK weekend of Interfaith Harmony will be the weekend of January 17th to the 20th, and more information will follow. Come in from the Cold Curtis concert will be Sunday, February 23rd at 2 p.m. Save the date, March 1st, for our Be Inspired Bash, honoring Kerry and Dave Heppen and Jenny and Sam Nemroff. Play a winning hand at our casino night with dancing and dining. Our next Mainline Speaker Series presents Adam Grant on Thursday, April 2nd. As an organizational psychologist, Adam rethinks how people lead, work, and live. Early bird tickets are now on sale. Happy first night of Hanukkah on the 25th. Enjoy this special time with family and friends. You will find complete information about our upcoming programs in the bulletin, e-news, and on our website. Wishing everyone a peaceful and happy week and the happiest of holidays. Go Eagles.
Go Birds.
Go Birds.
She added that. Shabbat Shalom. Our closing song is meant to get us in the mood for the upcoming Festival of Lights, Hanukkah, page 669, Ma'od Sur. Coming in from New York, we're thrilled to have you. We'll see you in the lobby. Come join us in the lobby. Meet each other. Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.
Thank you, Andy.
I know, Andy's so good. Yeah.
Andy.
What's that?
We're doing
Oh, I'm gonna get Wawa.
I see you're supposed to.
That sounds like a good plan. Yeah. You gotta do something to fortify yourself. However you set out. All right. See you in 2 weeks.
Not alone with
Unity rehearsal.
I see here, no, it's all over.
No, it's all over it.
She was excellent tonight. Excellent. It was so confusing. Yes. We'll see you guys next year. Even if it's tough. I don't remember things I have to. And I want to remember things. All right.
It's funny, I'm supposed to go to Shenandoah Christmas Carol, maybe Sunday afternoon, and the person, very nice sword.
Oh, thank you.
Brings some Hanukkah stuff too, because I have Jewish friends. So, yes, probably. And I forgot to bring the music, but I can make it up.